For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Wait for it.
Okay.
Just
You might
wait
need to
for
find
it.
one that works.
Just wait for it. 8:09 and a half.
Okay.
Here on this 25th day of September in the year 2018. Anno Domini. This is the Denkin's Den.
The views expressed by the host during his monologue are those solely of his own, not those of Westfield State University, the radio club, our underwriters, or me with a crappy tooth. And now...
You know what, Pete?
What's going on, Ken?
You can open up these idiots' mics, too, if they want to
Okay.
contribute.
Yes.
Ooh, who are you talking? Who are you calling an idiot?
When I first caught wind of this a few months ago, it never really set in. In the past week, I started to feel it. Withdrawal.
Oh, boy.
Emptiness.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't want to accept it.
No help.
But Jerry is gone.
I know.
Not Jerry Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Not Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry Springer?
Not Jerry the cat.
Jerry
Springer.
Jerry.
Oh, no.
Jerry.
No, he is not dead, but he is gone from my television.
Mm-hmm.
I am so relieved.
Whilst I worked in my office, I enjoyed having the comforting sounds of the Jerry Springer show running in the background.
Comforting?
Yeah, several hours a day.
Oh, my God.
What has he been replaced with?
What is it?
Cotton Providence.
What is Cot in Providence?
Cotton Providence.
What is
What's
that?
that?
Something I'm not interested in finding out.
Cotton Providence?
Caught. C-A-U-G-H-T.
Caught.
Caught.
Yep.
Let's say the word.
Lauren,
Caught
and Lauren Lake's paternity test.
Huh?
Yeah, a paternity test show.
Isn't that...
Yeah, we have Maury.
Yeah, Maury.
We don't need another paternity test show.
You're not the father.
Or do we?
Oh, God. help me.
Are there that many people out there who question who fathered their offspring?
Correct.
I can understand that a few younger mothers may not be sure between one or two fathers. But when you are back testing your 10th, 11th man without any positive results, you may want to think about how you were brought up. This is a fine example of why we need shows like Jerry and Maury on the air. They help us raise our children properly.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
You sit there with your spawn watching these shows, and you say to them, don't do anything that will end you up on being with Maury.
Right.
Or remember to never act like the people you see on Jerry.
Correct.
Jerry was a teaching aid.
Oh, God help us.
Don't cheat. If you cheat, things are going to get bad. Jerry Springer bad. But now he is gone. Replaced with programming I couldn't care much for. Perhaps I will get more work done.
Mm-hmm.
Probably less. I'm going to be spending more time channel surfing in order to have the perfect thing on in the background to replace Jerry. But I digress.
Have you tried the that Christian Broadcasting Network or something? Maybe what's her name? Sister. What's that beautiful sister that
We'll get to
guy?
therapy
Mother
later, Bob.
Angelica?
Yeah. Mother Angelica.
She's dead, Bob.
Yeah, I know, but she's on forever. She's on
You know what?
forever.
And Big Brother is going away this week as well.
Oh, you poor guy.
But that is something I will address after this break. We'll be right back after this.
Time was drifting, this rocket got to roll. So I hit the road and made my getaway. Restless feeling really got a hold. I started searching for a better way. And I kept on looking for a sign in the middle of the night. But I couldn't see the light. No, I couldn't see the light. Kept on looking for a way to take me through the night. Couldn't get it right. Couldn't get it right. Belly fever made me feel alright, but I must admit it got the best of me. Getting down so deep I could have drowned. Now I can't get back the way I used to be. But I kept on looking for a sign in the middle of the night. But I couldn't see the light. No, I couldn't see the light. Kept on looking for a way to take me through the night. Couldn't get it right. Couldn't get it right. New York City took me with the tide, and I nearly died from hospitality. Left me surrendered, took away my pride. Just another no income fatality. Kept on looking for a sign in the middle of the night, but I couldn't see the light. No, couldn't see the light. Kept on looking for a way to take me through the night. Couldn't get it right. Couldn't get it right. Kept on looking for a sign in the middle of the night, but I couldn't see the light. No, couldn't see the light. Kept on looking for a way to take me through the night. Couldn't get it right. Couldn't get it right. Kept on looking for a sign in the middle of the night, but I couldn't see the light. Couldn't see the light. Kept on looking for a way to take me through the night.
Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plasse.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
8:17 in the morning. Today is the 25th day of October in the year 2018. Anno Domini. This is Ken's Ken Stomsky behind the microphone. In front of the Radio Millennium Board is Kitten of the Keys, Chairman Meow Peter Coles.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning. My side chick today is Kathy Palmer. And why did I say my side chick today? She's my side chick every day.
Every day.
Every day, Kathy is there for me.
Every day I'm standing loyally by your side, even though I have to listen to what's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Kathy's just always there.
Regardless.
I just call out. I reach for her, and would you know it,
Yeah.
Kathy
Yeah, it seems like yesterday.
comes floating down to earth like an angel.
Oh, dear Lord, don't press that. Okay, moving along now.
Bob Plasse is in his house.
Yeah, I am.
For a little while. You know, I have a
love that.
big show coming up. I have Nick Morganelli talking about a fundraiser. I got car guy Mark Whitney coming in, and Matt Emmershy is coming in as well to talk cars, not politics. We're going to be talking about Cadillacs because I'm part of the club now.
You're part of the
I
Cadillac
wasn't,
Club?
I wasn't able to talk Cadillac until I got one. We're going to be talking about the history of Cadillac and what it's.
Yeah.
Once you drive around in a Cadillac, you really can't go back to anything else because I tried that last week, and you know my Impala is a great car, but you know it's not a Seville.
No. Does your Cadillac have a name? Do they name Cadillac?
I haven't thought of a name for her yet.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. But you and I are going to talk about cars. We're talking about something else.
Oh, God, help us, Kath.
And if you're watching on Channel 15, you'll see that Kathy is, she's pretending to sleep now, but instead she's having a hard time processing this and keeping her head up straight.
Move over and get into the frame there.
No. I'm staying hidden away.
All right.
So, yeah, obviously saw
Two
that
more
if you're on
weeks of
Channel
talking.
15. And, you know, if they do want to watch what's going on here and they just don't have Channel 15.
Yeah, how do they do it?
WestfieldTV.org, WestfieldTV.org.
Ah.
Yeah, not to be confused with
Can you watch that at
not to
any
be confused with WestfieldTV.org.
Yeah.
We're talking Westfield350.org. We're talking WestfieldTV.org.
So, okay,
right now.
so answer
Hello,
the question. Can
WestfieldTV.org.
tune in the middle of the afternoon if I get a fix? I need a fix of Ken Stomsky on the radio.
Well,
No.
you go to YouTube for that because all of my shows are
You
archived.
can look at our channel.
But you'll see whatever's happening on Channel 15 if you go to WestfieldTV.org.
Do you archive mine by chance?
Yes,
Pete
Bob.
archives
Oh,
yours.
you are so.
You search
Peter.
for the channel WSKB Community Radio, and you can see all the stuff since we lost the Vimeo account. Yes.
Terrific. Wonderful.
Speaking of losing things, we're going to lose Big Brother in a week. Actually, a week. We're
coming Wednesday.
we're
Tomorrow night.
gonna lose it tomorrow. We're gonna talk about the results next week, but we're losing it tomorrow.
Yes, yeah.
So there's 3 people left.
Uh-huh.
Did you play the theme yet?
Yes,
Yes.
I did.
Oh, okay, good. I missed it.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
So Mini-Me is in there. Beach Boy is in there.
Yes.
And who do we call KC, the footballer? Touchdown. We called her Touchdown.
Oh, Touchdown. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we've used her nickname all.
No,
season.
not once.
Yeah.
So you have 2 real competitors.
And as it goes at the end of the season, you have 3 different HOH competitions. Mm-hmm. So the winner of the first HOH competition goes to round 3.
Right.
The winner of the second HOH competition goes to round 3, and those 2 duke it out.
Right.
All right. So if you
and then you win, though the winner gets to choose which of the remaining 2 people
pretty much
are
if
going
you
to
win,
become the.
if you win the final HOH, you decide who you're taking with you. Because
Right.
only 2 people can go to the end.
Right.
All right.
And then the jury comes in, made up of your former housemates, of a select number of them, 10, 8, 6, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And they are the ones that choose.
The ones that you had a hand in removing from the house are voting on whether or
you're
not
gonna
you
make
get the
up
$500,000.
Well, here's my deal. We've got a person that right from the very beginning had allegiances with one-on-one allegiances with so many people in the group.
That would be
in
Beach
the house.
Boy.
That would be Beach Boy, and he played well throughout the entire season, and he really has been one of the best players in the history of Big Brother, as far as I can see.
The thing is, though, he's going up against Touchdown, which is KC. Who is also a strong competitor, won a lot of contests, but she played. She didn't float. She played a better social game. All right, fewer people hate her than hate him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that comes into play, and you know what? I bring that up because I have a feeling it's those 2 that may be vying for the final HOH. I don't think Mini-Me is going to be in that last competition. So it's going to be between those 2, which obviously
and
tells
they're going to bring one another to the
they're going to bring one another to the end. We pretty much know.
So why are we watching? It's the last show we can watch.
And we have to. No one knows who's going to win between the 2 of them yet.
No. I would
because
say,
that's being.
What do you think? I'm not going to go out on a limb. I think it's a dead giveaway that Beach Boy is going to win.
I think KC is going to win.
No. Okay.
I think
tension in the ranks here.
I think KC is going to win because she played a better social game. Tyler, Beach Boy, had more to do with evicting those people than KC does. She has a lot less blood on her hands.
Right. But the mere fact, if I'm a judge or a jury, and I'm looking at somebody who played the game so well.
She played the game well, too.
Yeah.
She won just about. She won 4 or 5 vetoes.
Yeah, she did.
She won an HOH.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm still going with Beach Boy.
Okay, so we have our picks. Who's going to win the fan favorite? I think Sam is going to get the fan favorite.
I think that Sam. Well, either Sam or
Mini-Me.
Mini-Me.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think it's gonna be between those 2.
They're adorable. For me, they ought to have their own show. They ought to go on Amazing Race, the 2 of them. That would be a fun fun kind of thing to see both of them on Amazing. They all go on Amazing Race, incidentally. That's the next. The winners or fan favorites go on to the Amazing Race.
Don't worry about Amazing Race because after after Rachel went on to it.
Yeah.
I grew tired of Amazing Race. I stopped watching it after, that. I could not stand her and her whining.
Yeah. And Cody and his wife, Jessica, are now pregnant with the baby. That was 2 people that got married last year.
Oh, I
from
knew
the
that.
show. Yeah, Cody and whatever.
So we have our predictions locked.
Yeah.
And we will discuss next week.
Very true.
What has happened. So
Wonderful.
That's what we got.
Yeah.
For Big Brother.
Yeah, that's right. Could that be? Oh, it's American Horror Story. Apocalypse.
I didn't see either.
Oh, you haven't seen that?
No.
Get with it, Kath.
I know.
Oh,
I'm
get with it.
This twosome here. I better
really.
figure it out.
Yeah. I'm telling
Rubber
you.
Man is back.
Oh, there's a man who is all in rubber, including his face.
Yikes.
Yeah. And
he was from Murder House.
Yeah.
He showed up.
He was in Murder House?
Rubber Man was in Murder
Sure he's
House.
not from the cast of
remember
Kinky
that.
Boots if he's all in rubber?
Yeah.
Evan Peters played the part of Rubber Man in Murder House.
Really?
Really?
Okay,
Wow.
what he said, yes.
Yeah.
I'm so out of these shows.
No, but I got to tell you that the beginning scene where they and we from last week.
The beginning scene of last week, that was disturbing.
Was about snakes.
Oh, and you told me that it was okay for me to watch. It wouldn't bother me.
You
Are
live
you
on a
afraid
farm.
Are you?
Well, I'm not keen on that.
Herpaphobe. Is that a?
No, but I don't.
Or is that with?
look
I just go running, screaming in the opposite direction like a little girl.
Well,
really?
wait till you hear this one.
Oh,
on
no.
the way over on the news on NPR, they told the story of some woman down south who found a 2-headed snake in her backyard, and it was
does happen from time to time.
2-headed copperhead.
It was probably liberal.
Oh, stop.
A liberal lawyer.
Oh God! Oh my God! Help me! Oh.
You know what? I'll give it to myself.
Yeah. Please give it to yourself. Yeah.
Come on, I have to say something.
So
like
this
that.
this 2-headed snake is now being sent to some snake farm or someplace. I can't even imagine what that looks like.
No, thank you. No.
I don't
You
want to
know, there were no 2-headed snakes on AHS though. American Horror Story.
No, there weren't.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
they were all. They were destroyed. Their lives were ended. They were chopped up for food because a lot of people eat snake, right? But the thing is, they were cooked. They were cooked. They're sitting in the crock. All right, it's brought out to the table, family style. They lift the top off the crock. The snakes are all back together and back to life, and they come out of the crock.
That's right.
Which
is a clue to something.
No.
It's a clue to something, and I don't know what it is yet, and I hated that.
Yeah.
And they're they're black snakes too, which like are the worst.
You know, I'm watching this, and I've watched 2 episodes. This, to me, is one of the weaker seasons so far. I don't know why. I'm finding it.
It's like Hotel. A Hotel. The first 3 or 4 weeks, I was like, "What the heck is? What's going on here?"
Very, very true.
And I think it's going to take another 2 weeks or so with Apocalypse to get by. Okay, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, you don't. It's sort of like that True Detective story. There was a True Detective series a couple of years back that I watched the entire thing. It was with James Franco. Had no idea what was going on. They're saying that there's a show called Maniac. That's that
Reminds
same
me
thing.
of Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah, that same kind of thing. Why watch an episode? Why watch something if you can't understand what's happening? Now, I fall
'Cause it
asleep
keeps
and
you
can't
guessing.
understand, but when you're awake and I guess, I don't know. But
There's a lot of series now that follow that same benchmark. They do an ongoing story. So
Right.
if you miss a couple weeks, you're dead in the water. You have no
that's what
idea.
these continuing series on Netflix and whatever, and the same thing with this American Horror Story. In the third episode, witches appear from Coven, so we know that's
Okay,
gonna
so
happen.
we're going to see the crossover then coming up. It'll be tomorrow.
Oh yes, exactly.
It'll be
But I won't
tomorrow.
watch it until well, maybe I'll watch it. I don't know if I like to watch afterward, so I don't have to go through the commercials. If you DVR your shows, then you don't have to work on those commercials. You can make it much, much better. But.
All right.
All right.
So we got by Big Brother. We know what we're going to do next week, and we kind of teased a little bit about American Horror Story.
That's right. And I am going off to watch. No, I'm going off with Lucille Nason to handle some Pumpkin Fest stuff today. So I'm getting ready for Pumpkin Fest on October 13th.
Excellent. At
Yeah.
8:31, I see my next guest is out in the green room. Bob, get out there and volunteer.
I am going to get out there and volunteer. You too. See ya.
Coming
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. Ken's Den, Tuesday, 8 to 10. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
8:36 in the AM. It's the 25th day of September in the year 2018. Anno Domini. This is the Ken. This is the Ken. Did you hear what I did?
You are the Ken.
I am Ken. This is the Den. Ken's Den.
We'll make it sweet. We'll make it short. Now here for you is the weather report.
Maybe not a weather report, but we have a weatherman in here, Nick Morganelli. Good morning, Nick.
Nick's entrance music now.
Yeah, rain all day today, but after this, we got like 4 dry days, 4 or 5 dry days. So
yeah,
I'm excited about that. Which is
Westfield Day is shaping up to be nice.
Yeah,
we have the ghost tour on Friday and Saturday, and you can make sure that you can create some good weather for us for that, right?
Yeah, it's going to be great. Actually, Friday, Saturday, it's going to be really good weather.
You heard it from Nick. All right, we're going to have good weather for that.
Little fall chill coming back, but that's okay.
All right,
it's going to be chilly.
All right,
chilly.
Yeah.
So
you got a sweater on today, Captain.
I know, but that graveyard is really cool.
Coming up on the show in a bit, I have car guy Mark Whitney and Councilor Matt Emmershy in to talk cars, to talk caddies, but. Before we get to
ask
talking
him how many
cars,
he's got when you.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. Yeah, I've been over there. I've seen them. But before we get into that, this kind of gets tied in with cars because it's about cruising in and looking at cars and eating spaghetti and raising money for a good event. So Nick, why don't you tell us what you're here to talk about today?
Sure, I'll give you the backstory. Is a friend of mine from high school. He's been working for Homeland Security for 20 years, and he came across some veterans. He kept seeing a need for veterans and military families in terms of their health care. So he decided to do something about it. So 3 years in the making, he's been working on this, and what has formed now is Medic Now Foundation. So you can go to medicnowfoundation.org. And look at the information on that. But basically, our mission is to broaden health care for our military families, veterans, active duty service members, and ease the burden of the out-of-pocket health care costs through the military health care stipend program. So basically, in Massachusetts, we have a 501c. We have a Chapter 115, which is if you're really low income. And you're a veteran or active duty, you can, if you're a veteran, you can, benefit from that. You can get some assistance from the state. So pretty much get everything paid for.
You said Chapter
115.
115. So if you are a vet and you are having issues, you might want to go down to the senior center to talk to the veterans.
Yeah, so Julie Barnes.
Julie's the new.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the new veterans advocate at the senior center will be able to determine whether or not you can take part of those Chapter 115.
That's right.
All right, good to get that out.
Yeah,
right
Chapter
now.
115. Massachusetts is the only state that has that kind of thing. So we take really good care of our veterans here, but there are gaps in the health care in Massachusetts, and of course in other states. There's a lot of gaps. Right. So when we go national with this, eventually we'll be in those big states with a lot of veterans like Texas and California and North Carolina and Florida. But basically what the veteran would get, and we've got a Westfield veteran that our VSO has identified that needs some help, and they're willing to accept the help. They'll get a Visa stipend card, a debit card, that they can use only for health care needs. And it's only good for that. And And
so
basically,
co-pays, over the counter.
Exactly, exactly. And a lot of what I'm finding is a lot of veterans they need help with dental care. They usually don't. They don't have a dental plan.
That's the last thing usually.
It's the last thing, and you need to get those twice a year cleanings,
And when you do have a problem, that can affect your overall health.
Right.
So that is something important to deal with.
Right. So this company PexCard, Michael Duggan, the president of Medic Now Foundation, you can see him on the board of directors page on our website. But he's the friend of mine that started this. He joined up with PexCard. And they've donated the whole software platform to us. And basically, they're an expense management company. So all the stuff is on the cloud. Like when this card gets used, it's live on the cloud. You can see exactly where the money goes, who's been using it for what, and who's used it. So this is really good because it gives you accountability, transparency. You can see every penny that is being spent through our stipend program that the veterans are using because of the PexCard platform. So the whole board of directors, we are all people that are that we want to serve the veterans. We want to say thank you for your service. And this is one way. This is the way we're doing it. We're thanking them for their service by saying, hey, you shouldn't have to pay anything out of pocket for your health care. You put your life on the line potentially. You've sacrificed by moving all across the country with your family, whatever it is. And we want to say thank you. And that's and there's very little criteria to get involved with this program. We're not going to ask a lot of deep questions about it. It's like, have you served? Yes. Are you a veteran? Are you active military? You need some help? Then we want to.
So the vet seek you out, or do you go looking?
Well, right now we're in we're testing our system, so we need to test the cards, see how they work. So each board of directors was charged with finding a veteran, which I have done my part in finding a veteran in your community to help. And we're going to give them a stipend card, and they're going to use it, and we'll be able to see how it works because some of our board of directors can get into the system and see how it's working.
Being honest with it, right?
What's that?
See if they're being honest with it.
Well, that and also just to see how everything works, because you can see everything in real time. You can see the transaction. You can see what it's. So we want to test the system, and then. Sometime in 2019, we're going to launch this entire program. We want to launch a pilot program and get these cards out to many, many veterans. We're hoping to raise $100,000, at least that, so we can use that money for our pilot program in 2019 and pretty much give a stipend card, 3 stipend cards a week for a whole year.
Wow.
So that's what we want to do, 3 stipend cards. That's like just our short-term goal to get the stipend cards in the hands of veterans. We already have, Six Flags New England has already told us they're gonna do an event with us next month of July.
Nice.
And the veterans and military families, they get in for free or for Six Flags. And we have some other stuff we're working on that we want to plan. But
excellent.
But this event coming up is at Shortstop Bar and Grill on this Saturday night.
Yes, let's get to the event.
Yes.
What is it?
It is a pasta supper with pasta, meatballs, garlic bread, salad. And we are going. The Shortstop Bar and Grill has donated all the food. We thank them so much. We have prizes to give away. We're still working on entertainment, so if anybody's got any connections with entertainment, we'd love to have someone playing guitar and having some music there. We'll have music, but it'd be nice to have something
live. Want me to
live.
come down and tell jokes?
No.
Are you going to pay? If you give us a donation of $1,000, we'll allow you to come down and tell jokes.
Right.
Is that fair, Pete?
Yeah, I think so.
What do you think, Catherine?
Yeah.
I don't know if his jokes are worth the grin.
Maybe not.
Should we
maybe not.
Should we make it 2,000? What?
Well, I don't know if Ken
How much
can
will you
afford
give us,
$2,000.
Ken?
Now, how much is the event?
Okay, it is free.
Oh,
we are
interesting.
asking. We are asking you to come down and say, "I want to be a friend of Medic Now Foundation. I'm here to break bread with you, to have some pasta and meatballs, and
what's the suggested?
Here's my free will donation. There's no suggested.
Okay.
We just ask that you give what you feel you would like to give. And this was actually the suggestion from Shortstop Bar and Grill, and Michael Duggan, our president and founder, said, "You know what? If they say that works, and I'm okay with that, let's do that." And it's just give from your heart, give what you can, and come down and be a friend of the Medic Now Foundation and support our veterans.
Because I know you had an event in Eastern Mass early in the year. We did PSAs for those. Remember we did those PSAs?
Yes.
How'd that event go? That was in the spring, wasn't it?
That was, yes.
Yeah.
That was May. Yes, you did. Thank you very much. And that was May 5th at the in Plymouth at the Plymouth Memorial Hall. And it was a wonderful event. It was so beautiful in there, and the American Bombshells sang all these American songs, and the Beantown Swing Orchestra played. It was wonderful. We didn't have the attendance we really needed. We needed about another 100 people to get in there. We made just a little bit of money. It wasn't a big, but it kicked us off, and it got us going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, I have a question. If people can't make it to this event on Saturday, how else can they contribute to your cause?
They can go to medicnowfoundation.org. There's a donate button right on the page. Or they can contact me at nick@medicnowfoundation.org. I'll be happy to sit down with them, have a coffee, meet with them, accept a check from them. I'll meet you in Westfield, I'll meet you anywhere. But nick@medicnowfoundation.org. Yeah.
Yeah, and I happen to notice down at the bottom of your poster, you're thanking Shortstop for their food donation.
Yes.
So Nabil, Hanush,
yes,
and Monica,
Nabil and Monica
are helping out with this,
and Julie. Yeah, they've all stepped up and said, you know what, we're gonna donate the food to this. So it's a win-win. I mean,
absolutely.
They're just a wonderful family, and they've done so much in the community, and I'm just very happy that they're helping us out and having us in there. This coming Saturday, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, car show, cruise night. Some beautiful cars coming. Weather is like mostly clear, 70 degrees.
And this is a weatherman, so we can trust him.
Oh, it's
going to be good weather.
It's a little window because it's not too. It's cool before that, and it gets rainy after that. But that's 5 to 6, and then at 6 o'clock we'll head over to the patio. We're going to be outside. They're going to have it all set up for the outside on the patio, and we're going to have dinner out there. Yeah.
Nice.
Excellent. Let's try to get a copy of this onto our Facebook profiles. So
I can send you an electronic copy.
Absolutely.
Yep. And we'll get that distributed out this afternoon.
If you get it to me quickly, I can get it on Channel 12 till the end of the week.
All right. I'll give it to you right after we're done here.
All right.
How's that?
Nick Morganelli, I want to thank you for coming in briefly to go over this.
Thank you all so much for having me. And I'll be in again. We'll talk politics or food or something else.
I'll figure out a time to have you in.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Take us away, Pete.
Good to see you, Nick.
In my own
programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Underwriting for community radio is provided by the YMCA of Greater Westfield. Every day, the YMCA strengthens the community through programs and services focused on youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. For all the Y's many programs and services, visit us on the web at www.westfieldymca.org. The YMCA, 67 Court Street in downtown Westfield. We're more than a gym. We're a cause. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. That's what you'll find on Ken's Den, Tuesdays from 8 till 10.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
On this morning of Ken's Den, Pete pushes buttons, Mark plays with his phone, Matt dreams of Cadillacs, Kathy worries about her cows, and I am clueless. I just wrote that 10 seconds before
Missed
I
the
did
post.
that. I missed the post. I came pretty close, though.
Yeah.
All right. So Ken Stomsky behind the microphone. Pete, Kathy, we already know you're in here. Joining me now, our car guy, Mark Whitney, and city councilor at large, Matt Emmershy. But he's not here to talk about council stuff.
No.
Or city stuff. He's here to talk about cars because he is really into a particular brand of cars, which, Mark, I'm sure that you have had some experience too. So, Mark, welcome back. It's been a few months.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Let's get you potted up.
Oh, no, I know. Go ahead.
There you go. Good morning. Thanks for having me. It's
Good morning, Mark.
beautiful
Welcome
morning,
back.
rainy morning. Thank you, Kathy. Good morning, Matt.
So I've seen you've been traveling around a lot because I'm following you on Facebook.
Yes, I've had a few travel adventures in the past 3 or 4 months, and all of them being memorable, I guess, to say the least.
What were some of the more memorable ones? What'd you do?
Drove to South Carolina and spent a week down there in Island of Palms in Charleston, which is beautiful. And did that whole road trip, down 95, went over to Virginia Beach, and which is beautiful. That whole area is traveling on the highway is just an adventure. You see some things that you don't normally see, and coming back, we went through Washington D.C., which is I think amazing.
Now, Mark, did you take the major highways, or do you go off and take?
No, we went down the major highways and then went over the what was that big Bay Bridge there? And I can't tell you that name.
I don't know. That area I tend to just fly over.
But we were going down this road, and it was like a 20-mile bridge. And
I know which one you're talking about.
Is that in Virginia?
I think it is.
Are you talking about the one that also goes under the water halfway through?
I've been over that. They have like gift shops halfway across it.
We're committed.
It's so big.
We're committed on the road, and there's no way to get off and on. And
I hear that bridge really freaks some people out when they're on it.
I think it is freaky.
A truck had about an hour before that had gone over the bridge and done a.
No.
So it went all the way down, and
oh no!
I found one guy. I don't know if I found the other person, but it goes from 2 lanes down to no lanes real quick.
Wow!
So you're committed, and you can't get off, and then you got to make sure you're thinking, "Thank God I had enough fuel." Thank God I've got a coffee, or thank God, I wish I'd. Your wife is like, I knew we should have stopped to getting fuel, and I wish I had gone to the bathroom, and you're like,
do you carry an empty bucket or something in the back seat?
She's in the back. Yuck.
So how long?
I keep a bucket in the back of my car just in case.
Yeah.
Too much info again.
We've heard about that bucket.
Yeah.
That bucket's a problem. We're clearly it was an adventure, but It was a memorable adventure. You know, the trip down there, and then you're going through these side roads, and it's very in a lot of very rural areas down there. I mean, up here in Westfield, you know, Russell is different, but down there it's like, wow.
Now, did you have it planned, or did
yes,
you?
Yeah, we did the whole plan route.
So you knew exactly where you were going,
right? You know, and then you're using the Waze, and you're like, you know, maybe this doesn't look right. And you go, oops, I think I made the wrong turn. And all of a sudden, you're on some road that you don't think you should be on.
It's taken me 2 or 3 attempts to trust that application.
You know, then the Deliverance song comes on.
Ding, 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 ding.
Big trouble.
And my knuckles are white, and I start sweating. And my wife says, "What's wrong?" I said, "Nothing, hon. We're all set."
That's when you want to make sure you have a full gas tank.
Gas, and so it was an adventure. We. Did a lot of traveling down there, and I went to the USS Yorktown in Virginia. In Charleston, which is a retired aircraft carrier that they actually used the filming for the Tora in.
I've been on a retired aircraft carrier. I've been on the one over on the West Coast in San Diego.
Yeah, sure.
What's the name of that one over there? Battle of Midway. The Midway.
What is it?
Midway.
Yeah.
You know, you stand there and you go, wow. It's like amazing.
It's nuts.
And
you go below and
there's floor.
It's crazy.
And you think, but these kids are probably 17 to 22, so they're in really good shape. But the walking is amazing. And then there's a helicopter ride. We did a helicopter ride over the aircraft carrier, which was amazing. They had a full complement of planes, but obviously they were older planes, but. It was just, you go on these road trips. It was a planned thing that we had done, and we kind of talked about flying. But I said, I want to be able to do those little stops. In Charleston, the row of rainbow houses down there, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Now, what is that?
Back, I think, in the 70s or 60s, Charleston was kind of getting a little bit, unwelcoming, so they decided to...
Yes.
Somebody started to say, well, we paint a house, kind of a color of a rainbow, and all of a sudden that whole area has all these different colors of the rainbow houses. And in Charlestown proper, it's just gorgeous. I mean, these houses are right on the water, just like in Battery Park, just gorgeous. And they've just, you're down there. It's just a different. It's low key. You go get an ice cream. Can I get a dish of ice cream? Where are y'all from? What do you mean? I just want a dish of ice cream. Well, where are y'all from? Can I get a cup of ice cream? Oh, okay.
Savannah's the same way.
Can I get a pizza with hamburger and pepperoni? What's Hamburg? Where are y'all from? And you're like, oh boy.
Well, as close as Brooklyn, there's no such thing as Hamburg.
Is that what
it's chopped meat?
No kidding.
Oh.
So
I was not aware of that.
There's no hamburger on a pizza in Brooklyn.
All right, Matt, write that down. No hamburger in Brooklyn.
But traveling down there and coming back through Washington D.C. But down there was amazing. We had an unbelievable trip, and then, of course, we rented jet skis. I don't know if you saw my thing in the jet skiing, but...
Oh, did I see that?
You tried a jet ski?
Yes, I did see that. 9 o'clock, WSKB Westfield. Go ahead.
Should I continue here?
Go ahead. We'll finish up the jet ski here.
The jet ski, we ended up renting 3 jet skis. My 2 older daughters and my wife and I used one, so we had 3 total. And you're riding around the bay, and there's dolphins. It was really exciting. I mean, anything's do like 35, 40 miles an hour, open water. And I'm going around and I'm splashing them, and my wife says, stop. And I'm like, I can't stop. So my wife gets off mine and gets on my daughter's jet ski, and I'm power sliding and spraying them and everything else. And now we're going back in. So my wife and daughter are on one jet ski. My daughter's driving, and I'm alone, and my other daughter's on another one. And the boat's coming the other way. So my oldest daughter with my wife is doing 30, 35. And when you're
that's still moving on one of those.
Oh yeah, that's going pretty good.
So then all of a sudden the boat's coming the other way, the opposite way, and of course the wake. So my daughter doesn't take it right.
Flips him.
What's that?
Flips him.
Well, she goes flying off, and I'm in behind her, and I'm like, this doesn't look too good.
Right.
So, she's grimacing in pain, and I'm looking to make sure she's still there, and I thank God that the she was okay. But the cinder block, I tied a cinder block to her foot just in case I lost her. I'd know where to get her. Because if clearly, if she falls off, you may never find her. At least I can recover her. So it's a recovery thing.
That's
so I was able to recover her.
That's terrible.
So that's the start of it. So then all of a sudden,
true love right there.
We get back in and get her on top of the jet ski, and she's not doing too good. And I'm like, ooh, boy, this is not going to be good. Get her back. We get her back in and kind of decide, guess what? Let's go to the emergency room.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we...
How many ribs?
3 ribs and punctured, yada, yada. So there's not a lot they can do. So I get into the emergency room, and I'm like, your entourage. Of course, you know what I say? I said, thank God I wasn't driving the jet ski.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they looked at me like, that's all you're concerned about? I said, yep, because it's my fault if I was.
Mm-hmm.
But it's my fault because I actually was driving too fast. So you had to switch. So the big thing is, thank God I wasn't driving the jet ski. So it was, she was still really mad at me. So it.
That's frightening.
Well, it was. The jet skiing was great. Charleston, that area down there was just amazing. But that Virginia Beach in that area proper has been so developed now. It's huge. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, even down to where we go, Wallops Island, Chincoteague Island area, it's busy down there.
Yeah, that's the only time I do a road trip, and it's with Pete down to Wallops Island.
Well, the nice thing about that,
that's still like it's almost like the Cape.
Every 4 or 5 years, they get cleansed out because they have a hurricane, so they got to rebuild it. So everything down there is brand new.
It's true.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, the time of the year we go down, everything is also closed.
It's true.
Did you see the thing on TV?
Plus, the island goes to sleep at like 6 o'clock.
Well, that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
But there was something on TV the other day or yesterday about all the flood waters that they had fish all over the roads.
I saw that.
So they had fire hoses blowing the fish off the roads. Can you imagine the stench and when it gets heated and the flies? But Charleston, if you ever
I was going to have breakfast when I got out of here, but now I'm not.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. 9:03 3/4. We're going to do a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Hi, I'm Al Harrington, president and CEO of Al Harrington's Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man emporium and warehouse. Thanks to a shipping error, I am now currently overstocked on wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men, and I am passing the savings on to you! Attract customers to your business. Make a splash at your next presentation. Keep grandma company. Protect your crops. Confuse your neighbors. African American? Hail a cab. Testify in church or just raise the roof. Whatever your wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man needs are. So come on down to Al Harrington's wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man emporium and warehouse. Route 2 in Weekapaug.
So that's how they all ended up at the car dealerships. See the tie in there now?
No. Or if you're WWE superstar Bailey.
All right.
So what type of cars, Mark,
along.
did you do all this cruising in?
We've got a Cadillac DTS, and
there you go.
See, we're getting somewhere here.
Riding
I got
style. Last year we took a Tahoe down, but this was a little more.
I'm gonna have you just get a little closer to the mic.
A little more comfortable, and we had talked about flying down to Charleston, but you're down there for a week. You got a rental car expense, and let alone the plane expense. But it's nothing like driving a car with your wife and your kids.
Love driving down.
It's an amazing,
When I was in Florida, I had a rental for a month.
Yeah.
and I went. I had two. What I have 2 Buicks, and then they gave me a Dodge because one Buick needed an oil change. I had to bring it back. One Buick blew a tire 9 miles from the rental place on 95.
Ouch.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, through no fault of my own. It just all of a sudden I'm like, what was that? Guy was in the car was like, I think we blew a tire, and all of a sudden all the lights come on. Yeah, and then I had a Dodge for the rest of the time. But it's still a nice drive up Route 1 in Florida.
There's always the adventure of something that's going to happen.
I went there.
I don't mind the road trip with Pete because he's the one that does all the driving. I get to sit there and just take it in and look at things. And there's this one stretch in Jersey. We weren't going down a highway. We were going down like a state highway, but not a divided highway. And there were just all these car dealerships lined down the street. And the car dealerships were Lexus, Mercedes, Austin Martin, just all these high-end car dealerships. And I'm like, what the heck? And then, we saw a Cadillac dealership, and you just mentioned that you're driving around in one. Matt Emmershy here is also into Cadillacs. He's a Cadillac connoisseur. May I say, Cadillac expert. He goes cuckoo for Cadillacs.
I do go cuckoo for Cadillacs.
Yeah, so he has not one, but he has more than one Cadillac, actually.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, do you want to
tell me about those?
I see. I only have one Cadillac now.
Yeah, oh, good.
Yeah,
nice.
I joined the club.
There you go.
Well, the one that is in the parking lot is an 08 STSV.
Yeah.
So they
you have the V with you?
I have one of the Vs with me.
Yeah, that's not the one that was getting towed out this morning in their handicap parking spot.
I sure hope not. Well, in handicap, no. No, I didn't park in handicap.
What color was that car?
Black.
Black one, right? A dark color? Because I'm color black, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was getting towed out when I was coming in.
Perfect.
He's pulling your chain again.
He's thinking.
No, I know I wasn't.
That was a pretty good poker face, but we all knew it.
That was good, Mark.
Yeah, they don't tow, they pick it here.
Right now,
I strategically, even that car, I always strategically park it. I mean, it was a little painful here because I knew I had cars around me, but normally, with what that car is, I try and avoid.
Do you back in or do you drive into a spot?
Here, I had to pull in just because of how the parking lot is, but normally I back in. Yeah. Just the front on those is so low.
Yeah.
But so there's that one, which is the driver, much to the wife's dismay.
And you said that's an 08?
That's an 08.
Did they still have the North Star that year?
Yeah.
Well, that
might not be in that one, but
it's an LC3, so they made, which is the 4.4 liter. So it's not your traditional 4.6 North Star.
All right, like the LD8 would be the 4.6.
They had it's
the Kathy visor.
It's a version of a Corvette engine or something.
Well, no, it's that was the CTSV, the STSV. They actually shrunk down the bore to strengthen the block and the heads. And then they added a 15-pound Eaton supercharger on it.
Yeah.
So it's a
14-pound.
So it's
so is there more room for the gaskets to not blow out on that thing now?
It's almost, if you look inside a North Star, the cylinders are essentially Siamese. It's not like if you normally open up, like a V8 where you have that space between the cylinder walls.
Significant space.
They're Siamese, sleeve to sleeve on a North Star. So with what they did with the LC3 was they narrowed up the bore, increased the stroke a little bit, shrunk it down to give it some strength between those to handle the additional power.
Gives you a higher compression too, doesn't it?
It does have higher compression.
Yeah, which means you're burning high test too.
Well, not only am I burning high test, I'm also, that car came with a hefty gas guzzler tax. I didn't pay it because I bought it used, but hefty gas guzzler tax, and that car averages 12 miles per gallon.
I'm up,
but it probably
I'm up to 16 and a half on mine. I went from 14 to 16, and when I did a trip down to the casinos, I hit 17.4 with it, but I'm averaging 16.6 now.
I got almost 25 on mine going down to Charleston.
Yours will keep going up.
Yeah,
yours will keep going up. Your car's in high. The DTSs, the clean ones, since they don't make them anymore, those are in high demand at this point.
It's
just the people they want that North Star front-wheel drive large Cadillac. You can't. what are you going to stuff them in now?
Right.
A rear drive,
Sure.
CT6.
Right.
So now Cadillac back 15, 20 years ago, whatever, 25 even, they started to. They wanted to compete with the European cars, so that's one of the reasons they came out with the North Star, to compete with the European sports sedans. Yep. But then we went away from names like Fleetwood and DeVille and Eldorado and Coupe, DeVille, and you name it. And they started doing little letters. Like my car is a Seville, but it's an SLS, Seville Luxury Sedan. Right. Now the DTS,
that's to compete with Mercedes.
Now DTS, am I thinking that's a DeVille Touring Sedan? Yeah, is that what it means?
A different package. It's a sedan DeVille. Which I think I got rid of the sedan DeVille as a name change. Yeah. It's a marketing thing. They try, you try to change the names to make it, more appealing to a different market. But the CTS it would be the performance version of your SLS.
SLS, yeah, and then you had the CTS. CTS had another extra 20 horsepower.
Right.
It had, believe it or not, rain sensing wipers.
You're saying STS, yeah.
STS, STS, yeah. Right. So they had the markup for the 20 extra horsepower, the rain sensing wipers.
You need those.
I think it had
It was also the gearing.
Gearing and they. None of them came with a soft top. I think they were all hard top, and they had the windows as well.
Thank God.
Yeah, I got the soft top on mine. I had no control over that.
But it's funny today. I've been driving a Porsche 911 Carrera. And you got these different sport modes, and you go from one, and then you have this thing that the exhaust changes sound, and you hit some of these buttons, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, and now we're having fun.
Well, that's one of the things that Cadillac did that I never understood because now my wife drives an 05 STS, which it's called a 1SF, so it has the North Star rear drive. I had to go to Orlando for this car.
Really?
Heated, cooled seats.
Yeah, sure. STS with rear drive?
They're all... The 05 and up.
05 and up are
all rear drive or all-wheel.
All-wheel drive.
Okay.
I didn't want all-wheel.
Yeah.
Now, that car has magnetic ride. For whatever reason, when they did the STSV...
For Kathy, would you explain magnetic ride?
So...
It makes it smoother.
It's smoother, and not even so much smoother.
It tightens it up, doesn't tighten up the suspension.
You start banging the corners. I mean, like if I decided, probably shouldn't say it on radio, but if I started driving like an idiot, going up 23 into Otis.
Have you been? How's that court case working out? Has that been dismissed yet?
Great.
Has it really?
Perfect.
No.
So is there anything like the compressors in my car that I have on the wheels?
No. This is it sends sends the magnetic pulses through the struts. And it tightens it right up. So any of the small road imperfections, it's unbelievable how it handles through the corners. Now, granted, my V. They tuned that thing on Nuremberg Raceway.
You need to have, that's important to have done.
That is extremely
on the ring, yeah.
I mean,
as opposed to Route 23 here in Blandford, wherever you're from.
It has. I'm from Westfield. I mean, this one, it has the 18s in the front, 19s in the rear, the Brembo brakes all around. But it's one of those. That car doesn't have magnetic ride. Then you get to a CTSV from similar years, which if you had, for instance, a V2 second generation CTSV, those have magnetic ride, but yet they don't have the heads up. I mean, it's just, it's weird how Cadillac packaged some of these.
Do you have the heads up in the 08?
The 08 does. So they made...
So, Kathy, heads up is heads on display.
Display, yes.
So
it reflects things on your windshield, so you don't have to look down.
In my windshield, so when I'm going up Route 23, it tells me
at 120.
I did not say that.
With a cruiser behind you.
The cruiser can't keep up with that car.
No, it could not.
But it displays your speed in the windshield. If you change your HVAC, if you change your radio, it pops up that stuff.
Gotcha.
So there's no looking down. You're just looking straight ahead, and it's displayed in the windshield.
Very cool.
So they made, it's through 2006 to 2009, they made 2,503 of these cars. 3 of them were test mules for GM, so essentially there were 2,500 cars available. There was 1,400 made in 06. There was almost 700 made in 07. Less than 500 in 08. 09, they stopped at 96. Once they hit that 2,500 magic number, they shut down production.
There were only 45,000 of mine made.
So the cars don't exist. And then you factor in exports. The ones that people are really after for STSVs are the 08 CO9s. So there's
the last year
500 of those cars around. But they got the little updates inside, new steering wheel, little trim changes, the heads up, lane departure, blind spot monitoring, fender vents, just a little bit of dressing up in the fact.
Lane departure, Kathy. That alerts you if somebody's creeping up on your side.
I got that.
Okay.
That I got.
No, that's blind
if you
spot.
drift. If you drift.
Blind spot. The lane departure is if you drift.
If you drift. If you drift.
Got it.
But
so you actually tie. There's a little jack on the dashboard of those vehicles, and it's a little cord you plug into it, and you wrap it around your wrist. And if you start to go off, Kathy's looking at me, and she knows I'm making this up.
I know where this is going.
It gives you an electric shock.
Between you and Mark over there.
Now, let me ask you a question: Is your shock treatment been done, or are you still in the is that still doing? How you?
We stopped administering it to my head because it was determined it wasn't doing anything. It was actually making things worse.
Right.
Yeah. 9:18 in the morning. We're gonna do a quick break, and we're gonna get back to talking about Cadillacs.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore in the Ely Campus Center, offering Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise, all of your academic needs, and offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Available at the bookstore on campus or online at westfieldstate.bncollege.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
9:19, and we just missed 9:19 and a half. I've got car guy Mark Whitney and Matt Emmershy in here. Kathy Palmer's just listening in amazement to some of the numbers and specs.
No.
It's like when Pete and I start talking tech.
No, you have to know something. My dad worked for a car. He was a car salesman all his life. I'm okay. I'm okay. I grew up with a brother who did it for a living. I grew up with my dad doing it. I'm okay.
Yeah. So normally when Pete and I start going off all tech, comparing 1080i to 1080p to 720p, and bandwidth and data flow, Kathy's eyes they just fog right over, and she just
sit
starts
here and go, yep, what he said.
Kathy, you must have some stories of your dad coming home thinking, "Can you believe those people? They drove 4 cars and they didn't buy one."
You
just roll your eyes. I had a woman that I was helping get a car a few years ago, and she said in the last year she'd driven 35 different cars, and just couldn't make a decision. It's just like, ooh boy.
No, but what I do remember though, Mark, is the size of the vehicles we drove.
Sure.
And the Cadillacs, the size. Even today, they just compared to the cars my Chevy was bigger than my conversion van.
Sure. Yeah.
It was like being in a boat.
Right.
Speaking of boats, the 08 and the 05 were in boats.
Oh, he's got a great story. You got to listen to Matt's story.
I'll tie into that in a second here. But what we have at my house, so you mentioned Cadillacs. So there's much to the wife's dismay here, we have a 49 Fleetwood, that has turned into a parts car at this point. It was too far gone, and you can't find parts for that car. They don't exist. I have a 52 Series 62, which it's a 59,000 mile all original car.
Where'd you get these cars?
The Fleetwood came from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The 52 came from Pat's Auto Sales,
which is where I got my Seville.
Yep.
Yeah.
Phil over there, the owner. Phil Jr. and Senior, great guys. They are Cadillac guys to the core.
My caddy is actually Phil's old car he used in Florida.
Yep, when he would go, when he would travel down there.
So Florida car, 50,000 original miles.
Right.
Yeah. So that car, Phil had bought it back, I believe, in the early '80s. It sat, unfortunately. It was for his son Patsy, who went into the military. It went off the road in '63 or '64, so it avoided most, if not all, of the road salt. It needs outer rockers. I've started painting and powder coating the rest of the motor as it goes back together. It needed a cam. Still has the dealer installed seat covers on it.
If you have the part spec, you can always send it to the machine shop over at Westfield Tech, and they might be able to make it for you.
Oh.
They do have a CNC machine shop over there.
And there are shops in Westfield that will make
would,
parts for you, because we've had
there's plenty of machine shops around.
They will. Advanced.
Might be a nice project for the seniors.
I found a cam, but it wouldn't.
I can picture Emmershy picking up a Bridgeport and trying to find room in his garage for it so he can do it himself.
Absolutely not. So there's the 52 in there. That's sitting on a lift, on a 4-post lift. On another 4-post lift, I have another 08 STSV.
Another. Wait a minute, hold on. That's 2.
See, I told you this guy is cuckoo for Cadillac.
So one of them is in the parking lot. The one in the garage, that's the Unicorn. That is a 30,000 mile. It was a one-owner. It truly was a cream puff. I mean, every piece of documentation down to the manila folder when it was coming off the car carrier to the dealership. With the stock number, the miles. The guy...
Like those hidden twin Grand Nationals that were found.
I have the build sheets on it. I have all of his original paperwork from that car. It was fully dealer serviced. Every single record on this car. I mean, absolutely everything. So then at that point, we had the 05, the 1SF STS, which... I love that car. Still has never seen.
Isn't that the one that's rusting apart? I heard, wasn't one of your cars rusting out the floors or something?
That was the DeVille.
Okay.
That was the car that ran up at the.
Okay, that's the one you destroyed
for demos. Yep,
okay,
that was the one that went at the demos.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I'm sick and tired of this caddy. Let me send it up to the demolition derby.
So back in February time frame, I had a 98 DeVille that I had picked up 5 years ago just as a winter beater. I mean, it was 104,000 mile.
You can buy those cars pretty reasonable.
Oh, yeah. We're talking 6 years ago. That thing was a $2,500 car.
Right. Sure.
It was it still had the Lorenz floor mats in it, dealer serviced, had the head gaskets done, motor was regasketed. All the expensive stuff on a North Star was done.
Yeah.
So we ran the thing up into the 140s, and it was an 85-year-old lady had it. She smacked up every panel on the car, so the body still looked decent.
Yeah.
But underneath, it was a New England car. It was starting to get scaly. So at that point, I started looking for another car, and CarMax down in Hartford had this STSV that they were asking way too much money for. Well, they finally dropped $5,000 on it in one day, so I immediately said, "Hey, So I went down. I checked
and your
it
wife
out.
said,
"Well, I bought the car. They were having issues with the lane departure wasn't working, which is a common issue with those cars. $180 camera, you replace it, but." Their mechanics couldn't figure it out. It ended up over at Scranton, Cadillac. So I had bought the car, about 2 weeks in, still hadn't taken delivery of the car, and I was avoiding it because of road salt and was waiting for some rain. Well, the DeVille, lo and behold, decides to blow a brake line.
Oops.
So at that point, I said, that's it. We're done. We're not putting any more money into this car. It's too rusty underneath. I start replacing a brake line. We're replacing all the brake lines. It's going to snowball from there. So the wife goes, well, that leaves us with your truck and the white Caddy. What else are we going to do? I said, well, we don't have a second car. I said,
but wait, there's more.
I said, honey, it's funny you mentioned that. I said, because I bought another car. She goes, so she got all red. What'd you buy? I said, pretty much. So she goes, what'd you buy? I said, another STS. Well, let me see it. So I showed.
Let me see it. Wait a minute. I'd be like, you did what?
Oh yeah. So I pulled the pictures up, and she's like, oh, well, that looks nice. Wouldn't talk to me for a couple days.
I would think so, yeah.
So then I had Counselor Surprise bring me down to pick up the car. And as we were heading down, she finally said, I'm calming down. When do you want to go get the car? I said, well, Andrew's bringing me down now.
In the meantime, it went back up to...
So I get home. She goes, so let me see this thing. So she looks in the driveway, and she sees the V emblems. She had completely missed the fact that it was a V, and admittedly, I glossed over that fact. I wasn't looking to volunteer information. So then she saw it was another V, so then I got smacked for that one.
Yes.
Rightfully so. And then I had to explain to her that I have two 2008 STSVs.
Identicals.
Both
basically.
in black. Now, they only had one option. Sunroof delete.
Really?
They both have the sunroof.
Yeah.
Oh.
They had three colors. They had the black, the silver, and thunder gray. They had three interiors. They had the black, the gray, and what's called Tango, which is a black and red. I think it's horrible and tacky.
Yeah.
It has red suede and
1984 Trans Am.
Pretty the worst.
Some of the old Caddies,
Yeah.
or some of the old Corvettes had that too.
Yeah, so they had the Tango, but both of mine are black on black. So she said, "What's the difference?" It's 26,000 miles. So then I got hit again. So it's been one of those issues where why do you need two STSVs?
His and hers.
There was only 2,500 of them made.
That's the reason, yeah. Gotta have it.
I mean,
right. I'm agreeing.
So
yeah.
now
right,
I
Kathy,
have.
Right?
Oh,
You have a sympathetic ear over
So
there.
now my daily driver is a 469 horsepower rear drive Cadillac.
Yeah, absolutely. You need it. Gotta have it.
Absolutely.
I do get that. Honestly, I do.
My Cadillac was going to be, okay, I'll take it out now and then. No, it's my daily driver now.
No.
Yeah, the Impala is now my winter beater. I mean,
I warned you.
Yeah, or if I go to the airport and I park in one of the lots, that's when I bring the Impala now. But you probably have the same thing because you'll fall back, Mark, on an average everyday driver, but you certainly drive some exotics and some fancy cars, don't you?
Yeah, I've been Lamborghinis, the Porsches, the high-end Mercedes, Bentleys.
Are those rentals or friends own them?
They're
Or?
friends' cars that I help do a lot of stuff with them, and you get in a car like that, and it's we've kind of talked about before is that you drive in these cars and you're like, well, no one's looking at me. It's the kind of a car you like. You just kind of want to drive it at 70, and everybody should stop looking. But these cars are, people who've not driven a car like that. It's just an amazing. The Bentley convertible is it's an amazing car.
That's got to be like smooth as silk driving a Bentley.
It's just there. You just get in the car, and it was a new one, so it was just amazing. The Lamborghinis, is just a whole nother. It's a different.
Can't explain it.
Yeah, just pure fun.
I went down to the Lamborghini Bentley dealership down in Boston, and Herb Chambers, and you just look at these cars. And $600,000-$700,000 cars, and for up here it's kind of a lot, but down in that market, in that Boston market, New York market down south, it's nothing.
No, I know. That's what. Well, that was the auto mile in Jersey.
Las Vegas.
Sure.
Yeah. You don't have potholes.
Sure.
I mean, you don't have foul weather. You see a lot of those cars out there.
But that
a
was
lot
the
of exotics.
That was the auto mile we went through in Jersey on that cutover between the Garden State Parkway and 95. Just, luxury vehicle after luxury vehicle after luxury vehicle. And I'm like, yeah, it's upstate Jersey. These are all the people from New York City that are the big dollar people. That's where they live.
Right.
And that's where the dealerships are.
Have you been hanging out at that new Mercedes dealership?
Yeah, I know Peter pretty well up there, and they've really done an amazing job, Peter and Michelle Worth. But they've created people have gotten into the market now because the dealership is there. People who would normally not have bought a Mercedes because there wasn't a Mercedes dealership around. You'd be Hartford, which is 25 minutes away, half hour away. Not a big deal, but so the closest Mercedes dealership would have been Hartford or into Shrewsbury, Worcester. So people have gotten. My daughter just got a new Mercedes from Peter, and they've created a market. They've getting people into a car that say, you know what, let's look at the Mercedes. They maybe looked at a Lexus in the past or a BMW. And so the Mercedes they've almost got a kind of an entry level, they got a price point in that E-Class in the low 30s.
Right.
So they've gotten people into the market that people may not ordinarily have looked into.
Yep.
So that Mercedes dealership, Peter and Michelle, and they've made a good footprint. They're in everything. They're involved in all of the community things, the cancer things, and all the different walks, and they've made a great statement. But Mercedes is still
the name.
Still a phenomenal car. And when you hit those buttons and the sport buttons, and you see that tack go from 2,500 down to 1,500, and you can almost feel the suspension tightening up, and you're like, wow, here we go.
This ride is about to start.
This is about to change real quick.
You can let them know I would appreciate if they opened up a caddy dealer back in Western Mass.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I
ever since Orr went out there, hasn't done anything.
Yeah, I'm almost surprised.
That's right.
Burke Whitaker, Lorenz.
Well, you know what? I would bet you in 5 years or less that where the York Street jail was, and this is just speculation, but where the York Street jail was downtown, I would bet Belize gets the Cadillac franchise back, puts a brand new building in where the York Street
they've been
jail,
trying.
Which is where now they've been using as a staging area for all the construction equipment for MGM So once that gets cleared out, Belize picks up and they link it up with a Chevy. So you have a Chevy Cadillac, put a brand new facility in there, maybe do some modifications to the old one because you got Buick GMC right down the road. But Cadillac, the problem with Cadillac is that the closest dealership again is Hartford or probably into Worcester. Or up in, you got to go up into Fairfield, up into in New Hampshire. So, when you reintroduce a product into the market, like Cadillac or what they've done in Chicopee with Mercedes, people say, well, yeah, it's here. Now let's do it.
Yep. Yeah. And I want to talk about how Cadillac has changed for the buyers of yesterday versus the buyers of today.
Sure.
When we get right back after this break, it's 9:34.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Thursday morning from 6 till 8, it's Patrick Berry, owner of the Westfield News Group.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
9:30, I'm going to call it 9:36. So we're talking cars, we're talking Cadillacs. Now Cadillacs have really changed over the past several years. Earlier on, I mentioned how they originally started giving their cars initials instead of names to be more European, and that's why they came out with that North Star to have a high performance engine to compete with some of the European luxury sedans. But now think of this: you go back to some commercials on television. It wasn't a Caddy commercial; it was Oldsmobile. This is not your father's Oldsmobile. All right, I think it's the same thing with Cadillac now, because the older Cadillacs, they were big, but they weren't overly huge, and I'm talking not 70s and 80s where you had to have an oar in the trunk. Okay, but they would still kind of float down the road. They'd still have performance, but they weren't sporty. They had guts. I mean, you could be going 80 and still have more. The car would have a lot more to give, even though it wasn't really a sports car. We used to call them sleepers a long time ago. But the Cadillacs that are out now, they're not made for the retired man. They're made even for millennials if they could afford them, because they are now sporty. They have all types of electronics in them, and they have performance. I mean, you can go into a sports mode. And you could literally take it on a track.
Well, that market has changed, and they've tried to get that market back. We kind of talked off the air, but that 40 to 60-year-old range, they've tried. How do you reattract that market? You've got to get them into the car, and that's the most important thing. I mean, if you're going to go out, if any one of us are going to say, "Look, we're going to go out and spend a $60,000-$70,000 price point," you may not be looking at a Cadillac, but it's not. It's an amazing car, but there's a lot of other cars out there. I helped a very, very good friend of mine I work with get a new LS Lexus LS 400, and back in the day, that was the car, rear-wheel drive, big V8, and that was the market. But the people today, they're not looking at the Cadillacs for some reason because of the Mercedes.
You want to listen to some of their marketing?
They also hear you hear Cadillac and you think, oh, that's an old man's car. When I was out in Vegas, one of the cars I got as an Uber was a $55,000 Kia.
Yeah, sure.
You want to listen to their current marketing ad?
Their current marketing ad?
For Cadillac.
It's horrible.
Every legacy comes with a burden. A standard to bear. An expectation to surpass. A purpose to live up to. But that's the point. Bring us doubt, and we'll bring you the first car with true hands-free driving for the freeway. CT6. Bring us a challenge, and we'll reinvent what it means to own a car. Bring us all your expectations, and we'll defy them. Again, and again, and again.
That's not your father's Cadillac.
No, it's not.
The thing... Did I see correctly? It has paddle shifters.
Yeah,
a Cadillac with paddle shifters.
I actually will tell you a story about that. I actually had. I work at Nutmeg Trucks in Hartford, and the owner of the dealership came in and said, "Hey, I'd like you to get that Cadillac." And put a plate on it. So I said, so we started looking online, and we found a white one, and couldn't cut the turns with it. So we ended up finding a blue one, CT6. Is that what it was? The new.
Yep, the large sedan.
The sedan, and $85,000 price point on it, and I did all the negotiation over the phone and emails, and ended up buying the car, and sent a good friend of mine, Eric, down to go get the car, and it brought the car with that dark blue with like a cashmere taupe interior, just gorgeous. I mean, just like, wow. A car you pull up to the country club with or go anywhere with. What a driving machine, but it's got electronics that you'd be like, oh my, where do you start? And get that, buttons for the changing of the, and it's like, now we're having fun. It's Cadillac is, I think that ad is a really aggressive ad.
Yeah, it's pretty slick.
You've got to get people into the car, and for us in the car business or any business, and your business is marketing. We're all in marketing. how do you get that people into the car? You know, we talk about. I have a bird feeder story. I think I'm going to tell a story about. But everybody has a bird feeder at the house, and if you don't feed the birds, they don't come, right?
Right.
3 days later, and your neighbors get them. You put bird seed back, within minutes they come back. Cadillac's got to redefine themselves with this type of an ad to get people into that market. The SUV market is big because people want that car.
They like the Escalade. That's a badge name,
right?
The Escalade.
Well,
the they really hit a mark when they decided to rebrand the Tahoe.
Yep.
Well, exactly.
But Escalade sales are way down compared to the early 2000s.
They got the truck too now, right?
I think they discontinued.
No,
is that one discontinued?
That was with the Avalanche.
That was the
the Avalanche takeoff.
That's gone.
The Avalanche. Right.
But I mean, you have a brand where historically it has been an older buyer. So we were talking about the DTS. I mean, you have a lot of older buyers. They still want that V8 front-wheel drive, large, floaty suspension car. What do we have now? You have the raked roofline XTS, and then the other spot where they've fallen flat with branding is, so you have the XTS, you also have the XT5. The XT5 is an SUV. So you have these X's, which with the crossovers and SUVs, but now you also have a car in there. So their branding, you know, they need to have a more cohesive plan before they go and they do this type of stuff, because they're hurting the brand. Escalade sales are down. You know, I mean, they're steady, but they're down from the early 2000s. Because they've gone up in price so much. I mean, before, you think back then, I mean, an Escalade was $60,000. Now you're 120, you know, loaded up.
You fully loaded Lincoln for $90,000.
Right. Think about that. But what they need to do, the manufacturer and the Cadillac, is got to come out with a very aggressive lease plan. You got to get the younger people, we're younger, into that car. Because it's a fine automobile, but you know the cars are today. So there's so much variety to choose from. If you're going to go buy a car today with $70,000, $80,000 in your pocket, Kathy, what are you going to buy?
Oh, I have no idea.
No, well, if someone says here's $80,000, go buy a car, where would you go?
I like the Lexus. I like something like that.
Mercedes.
But look at me, I'm only driving a Subaru. So.
No, but so that
I might shop.
What would you do?
I might shop a Lexus, but to be honest, since I was a child, I was a Cadillac person. I'm going to look for a Cadillac.
But part of the problem with
interesting,
like you had mentioned with the E-Class Mercedes, there, you step into an ATS, which is the entry-level Cadillac. The interior, I'm sorry, it's cheap.
Yeah.
It really is cheap.
Doesn't give you that warm and fuzzy feeling, does it?
Even that second generation CTS.
Sure.
It's a cheap interior. That's one of the things, aside from the size on my STS, which now up until the CT6, when they killed that STS Sigma platform, there was nothing to replace it size-wise. I mean, I have leather-wrapped dash, full leather-wrapped doors with suede, leather-wrapped console. I mean, it's a rich, nice, inviting interior. You step into a ATS, it's a plastic, cheap car.
And the
Chevy
Mercedes,
has
I get
better
8
cars.
cup holders in Mercedes. In my Cadillac, I got 2.
Yeah.
And the Impala SS is nicer inside than some of those vehicles.
That's absolutely true of a lot of the older cars.
And that's $50,000.
And that's my point.
For an
is
SF.
if you're gonna step in, if you're gonna draw those buyers in and get them to look at that ATS starting with the entry level Cadillacs, you need a nicer interior in that car. The exterior looks great on them, but you need that nicer interior. You need the premium components inside. I mean, you step in, like you mentioned, the CT6, beautiful car. There's a ton of leg space in it.
Yeah.
It's a big
I've driven a car a lot. It's amazing. This guy Eric drove the car back from Baltimore. He said it was an amazing. I mean, you get in the car.
Good drive.
It was, let alone the perfect color combination, that dark blue with that taupe interior cat, and he just said it's like, wow.
The one I'm waiting for
wow.
That's coming out is the new twin turbo Cadillac only V8. kind of like they did with the North Star. To get away from the LS motors that they're doing in the V Series, there's going to be a CT6 V Sport, which it's not the true.
What's the guzzler tax on that going to be?
Who knows? But it's going to be a 550 horse CT6. That will probably be the next. What
I've got 270. I've got 275. I'm trying to imagine that.
Pete,
that 275 seems enough.
If someone gives you a check for $80,000 plus taxes, so you got a check for $90,000 in your pocket, and you have to buy a car in 2 days. 2 days, you got to buy a car.
Well, for me,
you got to spend the $90,000.
It's like the mid-size SUV type. That's my class, and I would look at a Cadillac. But do they have a mid-size SUV entrant right now? Or you have to go elsewhere.
XT5.
Yeah, they've got the
XT5 is beautiful.
Yeah.
I've also driven the Lexus, and Lexus has a really nice vehicle in that.
Well,
class.
the other option to that would be the Navigator, right? Or is that? That's a bit larger.
The Lincolns come out. Did you see the new Lincolns?
Yep. They've stepped it up significantly.
Yeah, they have.
And that new Continental.
Ford's making a big push in that market space.
Yeah.
No.
But that would be the class, the mid-size SUV to carry all my gear and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, right. Exactly.
And I wouldn't want the super leather interior because the gear is going to beat on that. So I'd look in that space.
So in 48 hours, you're going to buy a car. You're going to look for a mid-size, high-end
SUV.
What, Kathy?
I would go with the Lexus, the SUV too.
Really?
A friend of mine drives that, and I love it.
Matt?
I think we know the answer to that.
I'm not hauling equipment around anymore. So
you got $90,000. You got to spend it in 48 hours to buy a car, or you lose it. What are you going to buy?
Right. Well, $90,000 will get you a top-end caddy.
Yeah.
Of course, you realize that wouldn't even buy me a new tractor, so that's what I need.
I would do either a CTSV, or, admittedly, I would consider going with a 6th-gen Camaro. ZL1.
Wow.
Go with a ZL1 Camaro. That would be
the other toy.
Well, I didn't mention. I mean, we were talking Cadillacs, but I do have a 2000 Trans Am that I've owned since brand new in the garage.
Did you see all those?
That's what Michael Buster McMahon has. It may be older than that. The GT. The Camaro GT he's got.
Oh, yeah.
Pontiac.
It's an 84.
It's a Firebird GT.
84 or 85 he has.
GTA.
Yeah.
GTA,
948. Do I have to do a quick one right now? Let's do a quick one, Pete.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its 3rd generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Plasse family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com, offering Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Information on all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area is available online at Xfinity.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
He rules the roost on Thursday from 6 till 10. It's Patrick Berry.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Just about 9:50 in the morning. Geez, that was a quick broadcast.
Well, you said quick.
Yeah.
Well, that sign I held up that says quick, that's just meant for Pete, which means a break, which means we're not going to play music.
Right.
Imagine how much we couldn't get out if we had three songs, 4, 8, 12.
What did you say? You got to get out.
That's 12, 13 minutes that we couldn't talk.
Matt's wife said to me last night, quick, get out.
Quick, get out.
she said he's home. Go out the back door.
Double buzzer.
No, I didn't buzz him.
Tough crew here today, Peter.
Thumbs up.
I gave him the buzzer.
Crew. All right,
This took a turn here.
Now, Mark,
Wow, now we're having fun. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry.
let's ask you this. If you had the $80,000, we'll even give you 90 and up, what would you buy?
I think I'd go into an S-Class Mercedes.
There you go.
You know, you can get a, you know, the 550 S-Class gets you the big V8. The 450 gets you to the little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just think it's a phenomenal riding car. And today, we were kind of talking off the air. Today with the electronics, these cars are doing so many things. So, you know, these cars today in 2 or 3 years, think about these cars in 2 or 3 years, where they've come in the past 5 years with the automatic lane departure warnings and the automatic driving and the braking things and the adaptive cruise control. Wait for think about this in 5 years where we're going to be in cars.
I don't like how some of these, where some of these things are going, tech-wise, and how the car operates. Now last week, I had to go up to the North Shore, and I'm actually going out. No, that's going to be a different vehicle. I had to go to the North Shore for a conference, and it was the BMW 5 Series. And it was one of those cars where whenever you stop, guess what happens?
It shuts it off.
It shuts off.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled about that.
Yeah, it's an override.
Start-stop.
Yeah.
So you know,
it's more distracting than anything.
You hit the gas. It won't immediately jump and go when you want to, which kind of scares the hell out of me coming out of a parking lot or something. And we were able to override it, but you can only. You have to override it every time you turn the key, and we were able to override it by putting it into sports mode.
Oh, really?
But now, even around town, you don't want the thing turning off on you. You have to put it in the sports mode to keep that from happening. And you don't want to drive around town in a BMW 5 Series in sports mode.
Well, I think that's designed to help save gas.
A little bumpy.
well, Matt would.
That's a gas mileage thing,
it's
right?
to meet the regulations.
That was you're gonna hate me to say this, but I'm gonna say it. That was to make Obama happy.
I get 12 miles per gallon in my car anyways. It really
well,
doesn't
do you know,
matter.
At some point, you have to say, I don't care about gas mileage.
We may have discussed this in the past. But
I've gone from 24 to 14, basically.
Why did they come up with right on red, do you know?
No.
Keep people moving. And
well, let's say
I
gas.
thought it was gas.
Idling.
No.
When was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, in the 70s
Lordy.
during the gas crisis, we came out with that.
They decided that back then that the right on red would save, you know, whatever times millions of cars, and this override with this automatic shutoff feature they've designed for the EPA that if they can increase the fleet gas mileage rating by whatever, I think Volvo
meets the regulations is what it does.
Right.
The new regulations.
Correct. I think Volvo,
like Boston College
says that
buying electricity in the Midwest.
They're not going to have a combustion engine car by the year 2020 or something. I think it's Volvo. Everything's going to be electric.
Interesting.
So they're getting,
yeah. My question is, we got rid of nuclear. Who's going to generate all that electricity? No more coal, no more
except
nuclear.
all those lithium batteries.
Yeah. Where does the electricity come from that charges your electric car?
Right.
I think them solar arrays ain't going to do the trick.
They're thinking it's getting more efficient. The batteries. You Google where they get that product to make the batteries up in Canada. They go up into these areas and they just decimate an area.
I know. They strip mine them.
They strip mine.
Yeah, no, that's bad for the environment, though, but we have to have our Prius.
Right. So it's an amazing.
And the other thing you can't.
That's the funny thing.
The other thing you can't do is, I mean, I don't know if you've realized it, Ken. The North Star is a phenomenal sounding engine.
Oh, yeah. I love the way that car sounds.
That engine, I mean, it's right up there. It rivals with some of the best of them. You don't get that with an electric car.
Yeah. You don't get anything.
I will take.
You get nothing.
I will take that 12 miles per gallon.
Nothing and like it.
And I know some of the hybrids are actually generating noise to simulate a decent engine.
Yeah. It's not the same. But we're talking about saving gas for the right turn on red and other things. Where was I leading with this?
I don't know.
Was it my gas mileage? Oh yeah. Gas mileage. We came out with 55 miles an hour because it was supposedly where you get the best gas mileage, right? That's bull. All right, I actually get better gas mileage on my car at 75 than I do at 55.
I do too.
Yeah. It's either 40 or 75.
And then from there, the faster I go, 80, 85, the cooler the car runs.
No, I bet.
Where? No, I don't want to know.
It's weird how it's just weird how these North Star engines work.
Now you take my Trans Am for instance. That car, I've done some trips to Florida with that thing. It's got a 0.5 overdrive. 90 miles an hour, you're spinning 2,000 RPMs with that car. I can knock down 31 and a half. What's wrong, Captain?
95 miles an hour.
That's not much under 95.
75 on most of the highways.
I was going over a buck when I was a high school
All right,
student.
95 is like you're doing okay.
Yeah. 79 Buick Regal, I had over 100.
We'll just say there's a picture of that Trans Am supposedly in the state police barracks.
That's funny.
And 95, that 95 is nothing with that picture.
Yeah.
Are you allowed in South Carolina, or you got to go around the state?
No, I go through.
You are right? Really? I didn't know that.
Gentlemen, it's 9:56 and a half. I'm just about out of time. Still
Ghost
time.
tours.
Still time for cruises coming up, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Any
few
you
more.
going out on soon?
We're going to Lake George for going up there. They got some. We missed the car shows up there, but that Lake George.
Will you be taking time out to go on the Minnehaha?
We're going to do the Lake George trip. My wife's birthday, so we're going up there for the weekend. But everything car shows today. It's amazing the connection of the car shows.
Have you been down to Hershey, AACA, in October?
No, that's another one.
So I'm taking Counselor Alley down a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It is the largest antique car show and swap meet in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, he's into old cars.
They fill.
Yes,
And what weekend? What week is that?
It is, I believe, the 10th to the 13th.
Yeah, you're going with Al, the Councilman Alley.
Are you
Yes.
coming back for Pumpkin
I'm
Fest?
Yeah, yeah.
Can we make it back?
Because your wife and I are going to
We'll
Nantucket.
see. There you go. Perfect.
So
There's going to be a fist fight after we go off the air.
No. But that's, I mean, that's something they fill where Chocolate World is for Hershey. The amusement park, the football stadium, and the hockey arena.
I believe that.
It takes 3 full days to walk
What's the
through.
name of that again?
It is the AACA Fall Meet that's down in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It's the Antique Auto Club of
one
America.
of the biggest ones.
right.
It is the biggest in the world.
Is it? Is it really?
9:58. Fastest 2 hours of radio that you'll ever come across. I want to thank my guests Matt and Mark for coming in today. I want to thank my listeners both through terrestrial radio and of course on video if you're on 15 or westfieldtv.org. Ghost tours this Friday and Saturday. Tickets sell out fast. They are only available at the Athenaeum. Get your tickets now. Don't be left out. Next week, Ralph Figge and a yet-to-be-determined counselor. I have a feeling I know who it's going to be because Ralph is reaching out to him this week for me. 2 weeks from now, Dan Paquette from the library. 3 weeks from now, Chef John Slattery will be in his house. I think we might be warming up to Thanksgiving stuff by then. And 4 weeks from now, we're going to be doing a remote from the Tech Academy. And where in the Tech Academy we're going to be doing the remote, I don't know yet because my producer doesn't know yet. Tune in to find out. That's all I have for you. I'll catch you next week.
Bombadita, 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 happy trails to you, bombadita, 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 bombadita. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again.